Hi, I'm Severo from HoRNet Plugins, and I'm about to show you our latest plugin, which is called Sleek. We chose this name because the purpose of this plugin is to remove any resonances that may be present in your recordings and make them sound smoother and sleek. So, the way it works is quite simple. It analyzes the audio it has in the input, creates a difference between the raw input spectrum and a smoothed version that represents the average levels of each frequency band. And then it computes the differences between the two, identifying what we call the residuals, which are the resonances in the audio. So what do we do now? We take these peaks that we identified and we create some filters to remove them if it's needed. And you have quite some parameters to choose the amount of these residuals and how much they are reduced and attacked, and also how fast. So this plugin can create very satisfying results with a little effort. And for this reason, in this video, I'm doing something that I never did before, and I'll start letting you hear how the plugin sounds when it's present on a raw recording of a rock piece. And there's nothing else, just Sleek here, set with the right preset for each part. And then I'll let you hear how it sounds when it's bypassed. So here we are. So you can clearly hear how much more refined and defined the sound is when Sleek is present and we are just removing resonances in a dynamic way. So we can choose, of course, the amount of resonances we want to remove and the way it works. So I'll take, for example, the instance I have on my master bus, and this is the interface of Sleek. It's using the master bus preset, we have created, but I'll show you how it can work, reducing the amount of work and changing some parameters. So if I press play, you can see how the interface works. We have on the main part of the interface the residuals display that shows the peaks we have identified. Then you have on the upper side the amount of gain reduction that it's been actually applied for every peak. And these two parameters are changed, data are changed by both the preprocess EQ and the processing settings. So if I, for example, change any of these EQ points, I'll create an artificial increase in the residuals for that specific band. So I'll let the plugin work more on that specific band. Also, with these other settings, I can choose to reduce the operative limits of the plugin. Right now we are working only on frequencies between 50 Hz and 15,000 Hz. But if, for example, I want to remove less frequency, work on a tighter range, I can do that by changing the limits. And you see that we don't have any gain reduction above this line here. This is not accurate for a master, so I'm putting it back to the default of 10,000 Hz. And with the Sleek factor, I can adjust the amount of peaks that are found by the plugin. And these are the number of filters that we actually can use. It's 50 right now, so it's the maximum amount, but I can say it, for example, if I want less CPU usage and less, of course, frequency reduction. I can use just 10 filters or just 5 filters, and the plugin uses a lot less CPU with just 5 filters. Then I can choose the filters queue. So if I use a higher queue, I get tighter notches, and if I use a broader queue, I get, of course, broader notches. So with just 5 filter, I can choose a queue of 4. And also we have the attack and release for the filter action. So this works exactly like they work in every dynamic equalizer or a compressor. So you can choose the time it takes for the filter to reach the maximum gain reduction once the peak is detected, and with the release, the time it takes to recover to 0 gain reduction when the peak is not present anymore. Of course, faster attack and release works better for percussive material, while slower attack and release works better for full mix down and slower sounds in general. So, for example, I can tweak something to let you hear how it sounds. See that tweaking the equalizer changes visually the amount of residuals that are getting analyzed by the processor. So you can adjust, let's say, what the automatic process finds out in terms of peaks and resonances to be removed. And if I change the sleek factor, you see that the ratio between the two changes. So I'll show you. So you can visually see the part that is being analyzed and may be removed. Of course, since we are using 5 filters right now, we are removed the top 5 residuals, so the top 5 resonances that usually happens in the low, mid, low, or low end. But if we want to tackle some harshness, for example, we can tweak that, increasing the residuals for higher bands, and see what happens. So at the same time, changing the filters queue changes the width of the action of the filters. So you have some more broad equalization or tight narrow fixing. And with the gain reduction amount, you can choose if you want the plugin to reduce all the gain it found to be reduced, or just a certain percentage of that. For mixed bass, it's better to stay low with gain reduction to avoid creating big dip when some nasty resonances start, and it's quite noticeable. So better to stay on the safe side, that you can then maybe increase. If I increase the number of filters, by default it uses 20 filters. You see that we get quite a good action. It's a good compromise between CPU load and actually action. So it already polishes the mix with just this instance on the master bus. And keep in mind, we don't have any other plugin, just Sleek on this mix. So with the use of this plugin, we already can have a very good starting point to be equalizer further down the way. Maybe with our 31, maybe with any other total EQ or any other of our EQ. And then with the right compression, you get a nice sounding mix because we have polished the resonances from the beginning with Sleek. So this was HoRNet Sleek. It's available right now on our website. You can go there and try out the demo because we have one for this plugin. And if you like it, you can buy it. So thank you very much for watching this video.